Hey everybody out there in YouTube land, coming at you pre-recorded because I don't do live shows. It's weird. I'm Pocan Joe, and as always, you're pretty cool for swinging by. I really do appreciate it. Please, during the show, leave a comment or something down below. And this is my weekly haul video. I don't know why I'm having trouble talking today. We have a storm that's coming, and it's like coming down on us pretty hard right now. It's that pre where you can see it off in the distance, and you're like, yeah, I might need to run to the shelter. If that happens and the roof flies off my house, just know I'll be all right. All right, we'll just leave it at that. This is my weekly haul video. What kind of good stuff did I pick up, and what kind of stuff will we be talking about on Blast It or Stash It, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sunday night, right here on YouTube. These are the books we're going to be reviewing, or the books that I'll be bringing to review. With that said, don't forget that there's a live chat in that room, and if you see something on here and you don't want it to go into the lightning round, you do want us to kind of talk about it a little bit, we have a comment box and a chat room going on. Please let us know. I'm happy to talk these books up. As you know, I'm quite use a lot of verbiage when I go to explain what a book is. So as always, this haul is going to be broken into two sections: stuff I have read, stuff I have not read. Let's show the things that I have not read as of now. Mostly because two of these I just got today, like legitimately 10 minutes ago, and that reminded me to do a video. I know I'm like the worst friend ever. I really am. We're going to start this off with Farmhand number 7. Man, get yourself some Farmhand. I've been enjoying this. I have not read this yet. This is the stack I have not read. But, man, I've really been enjoying this. It's very engaging and very intriguing. And we got some good stuff coming out of this. So definitely pick that up if you can. Something I normally don't pick up, and it's not because I don't like the comic book series. I'm just kind of lost because I've been kind of out of G.I. Joe now for a while. I think the last time I did anything comic book wise or movie wise or anything with G.I. Joe was that monstrosity of a movie that they tried to force down our throat. And I've been kind of off the comic book game when it comes to G.I. Joe since the late 80s. So why get this one? Why get this variant? First off, it had my favoriteest character ever. That's Beachhead right there on the front on this particular variant cover right here. And I saw this before I ordered it. I pre-ordered this, and I got to thinking about the movie and the scene that Beachhead, training up the new recruits. So I went ahead and watched the cartoon. Like, I just went ahead and did it. And it just kind of brought up some nostalgic feelings. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and pick this one up for $7. Not because I think I'm going to flip it or anything, but because I've been out of G.I. Joe long enough. And then my boy Beachhead is on it. By the way, if you ever collected his G.I. Joe card, he was a United States Army Ranger. He was a secondary MOS. And he was also the primary trainer for G.I. Joe, hence the cartoon. So yeah, that's my love. I memorized the back of his card. Like, I can tell you where he's from, how tall he is, but it's stupid crazy what I know about Beachhead. It's a weird fascination. I don't know. I guess we all got that in some way, shape, or form. Moving on with things I have not read. Blossom 666. This is probably the more morbid of the Archie runs going on right now, and I think that's why I'm liking it. I don't really know if I'm in love with this story, if I'm just engaged in it, and there's a big difference to be made there. Do I just want to know what happens next? Do I kind of want to understand it, or am I really enjoying the story? Some can argue I probably putting too much thought into this, but again, why not? I mean, it's my thing. Moving on, we got Houdini, Master Detective, number 1. There it is. There's the book that's going to put your kids through school. No, not really. But, again, I haven't read this yet, and I know a lot of these kind of offset publishers. I believe this is ROK. I hope they pronounce it rock. Publishing is putting this out. And first off, I love magicians. Like, they're my favorite people in the world because they're the upfront liar, right? Like, legitimately. They're telling you a lie. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about that. Nothing in the bag. The whole 9 yards. And you know it's a lie, and you're kind of okay with it. I like Houdini. I like what a lot of these kind of off-published companies are doing with historical figures. What was it? Nikola Tesla, the Time Detective, was not too long ago. I believe that was I forget who it was from, and I don't want to missay it. We got Edgar Allan Poe, Terror of Sniffer coming out. You know, and I kind of enjoy that kind of alternative take on history. At least for a couple of issues I do, until the story just kind of separates from the actual character so much it doesn't even... It's not resembled in any way. So yeah, I'll pick up an issue number 1 for Houdini. Heck yeah, he's like the greatest magician ever. Next, because of the exact same reason, I picked up Mary Shelley's Monster Hunter. I just kind of flipped through this, and I really dug the artwork in it. And I don't know, it just kind of looks like... I can't describe it. I'll show you a picture of what I'm talking about. And normally I'm not a fan of this particular kind of art, but it just seems like it would make sense. Dealing with Mary Shelley and the monsters that or Frankenstein and the other monsters and horror that she wrote, just kind of makes sense. So, yeah, why not? And like I said, it's there. Why not? My wife wasn't with me in the comic book shop, so I can go over budget. Why not? So, moving on. Moving on to the things that I have read. Oh, nope. I can't even say that. Last thing I have not read yet is Middle West. Again, just like Farmhand. If you're not reading Middle West, man, I don't... It's almost like you don't like comic books. It's so weird. This is a coming-of-age story that has just been very engaging and likable all at the same time. I really like this. It's great mystery. I love how they hint to things and their false hints, and I really dig the artwork in it. I mean, that is just great stuff. Great storytelling. Somebody that really knows how to develop a character, build an entire world, and do it in enough amount of time that keeps you engaged in the story to learn more. Yeah, why not? I'll do that all day long. Next book I have not read yet is the long-anticipated Naomi. Now, you'll probably remember I read the first couple issues of this. You can go back and look at Blast It or Stash It. And I was starting to get a little frustrated because it wasn't going anywhere. And then the mystery started. And then the engagement started. And now everybody's speculating who Naomi is. Was she the kid on that Superman was carrying on one cover? I believe that was Action Comics or Superman Comics. It was one of the other, Superman, where he's kind of carrying this African-American child. Was it Naomi? Dun, dun, dun. Come find out, no. And then we're looking in other comic books where we see a character that looks similar. If you squint your eyes, maybe tilt your head a little bit, like Naomi in the background. Is that her? That's got to be her. Yada, yada, yada. We don't know. All right. So it's a lot of talk about this book needing to be more. I don't know if it's fluff or not. Again, I have not read this yet. I'm actually waiting to read this last. So this is because I'm sure this is something that we're going to end up reviewing on Blaster Stash It, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sunday night. Swing on by. Let's see. And the rest of this I have read. So let's talk about some of this stuff. Batman number 69. Guess what? We're still stuck in his head. And we get more over dialogue on why we're stuck in his head. I'm going to make a little bit of a criticism here. And I generally tell people if I like or don't like something. Very rarely will I tell somebody what they should do. This story right now would have made more sense if what he was being injected with by the Scarecrow was more addictive. Like Bruce Wayne wants it in his system and he wants to stay in his head. And it's not a forced thing that just got him past the point so bad that he now enjoys it. It's weird. I'm not really sure what the writer's trying to tell us, but if they made the drug a little bit more addictive, and he wants to stay in this coma, and he's got to fight his way out. They should have played the story backwards on it. It would have made more sense. And I think that's part of the problem everybody's been having with this. He doesn't want to be there, but he's seeing the person he loves. We're still hyped up and harping on the fact that they didn't get married. They tried to do some big reveal in this, that dun dun dun. And, maybe he never wanted to get married to begin with. And I'm like, no, that's... you just took every issue before 50 and you made it all a laughable joke because he really didn't want to. Just stop. Now you're probably thinking, Joey, you keep buying this comic book and you talk bad about it all the time. Why are you still picking it up? Well, even on Blaster or Stash It, we love stashing them, but we still need to blast something, and this has been a consistent blast for me. Moving on. Justice League. We finally see what Perpetua looks like in her full form. Guess what she looks like? The same thing they've been keeping in a glass jar. Doom's been, there you go. There's your big one. What I did find interesting in this is the relationship of Perpetua and her children and this mighty Space Hawk that came out of nowhere. You haven't read this yet? Yeah, it just kind of popped out of nowhere. And then how the Anti-Monitor kind of got screwed over beyond the source wall. And there's you have to be following this story from the beginning and maybe even know some of the past stuff about DC's universe to quite fully understand this. And I think the writers were relying on that too much to some degree. Was it a bad story? No. No, I'm not going to say it was a bad story. Am I going to say it was kind of a little convoluted and over-verbaged? Yeah, that I will say. Because it is. Next, this has been kind of cool. I don't really want to call this a comic book almost. It's more like an anthology. Kind of, a hybrid of what if in an anthology. What if Spider-Man just, instead of us every year seeing him the same age and maybe being in college or maybe just after college since the 60s, what would that have been like if he just stayed the same age and just rolled through it? So here we are in 1977 in this issue. A little bit of a problem here, though. Whoever's writing this needs to look up Wikipedia, because apparently in 1977 in their timeline, the Vietnam War is still going on. They're still reading about it in the papers and everything, and that's not accurate. The Vietnam War ended in 1975 with the fall of Saigon. And I guess maybe they're trying to an alternate reality where if the superheroes got involved, that would have extenuated the war. But that doesn't make sense either, what we know about superheroes. So I don't know. I'm trying not to think too much in it, but sometimes there's little nuances that kind of stick in my head and really in my crawl. However, the Black Goblin in this, the Osborn families, all their weirdness, a lot of that kind of goodness in here. Hey, if you're not up to speed on the past of Spider-Man and its original storytelling, because maybe the books are out of reach or maybe there's just none in your area, this is a great way to get caught up in what it would have been like, and a lot of these stories, the in-between the panels kind of things, the things that happen in between them. We get some interesting stuff here with Mary Jane and on drugs and drinking and disco life. That was kind of weird, but okay, whatever. I'm going to talk about that last too, and that last. We'll hit all three of them up at one time. Uncanny X-Men. Man, this is an X-Men story. This is number 16. I love this cover right here. I had an opportunity to go with some of the more rare variants with this one, but I couldn't pass that up with the skulls and the wolves and, Chico with a spear ready to do damage. What do we get in here? We find out what trust is. Right, that seems to be kind of the big theme in the uncanny world when having to deal with other people. And in the kind of the brief montage of trust in this was first broken out with Captain America and his dealings with the X-Men and how not everybody's being fully honest with each other. And maybe because they can't, or maybe because of security, or what we expect when we say we trust people. It's very interesting. And I like that because it does kind of play into reality to some degree. And then we also get the clone of Magneto is back in action, causing problems, and this makes the Juggernaut upset. Again, misfounded trust. And apparently the Juggernaut wants to be back on the X-Men, so they just said, okay, come on board. I'll find it. I'll buy off on it. That's fine. So, that kind of happens in it, and we get these beautiful pages where, the Juggernaut is straight up just bashing him down. That's great. Great artwork in this. Beautiful artwork, actually. And we get the, I don't want to call them the Mutant Liberation Front because they didn't really address themselves as that. And they're actually kind of seen as something else in the comic book series. But this particular group of mutants, we'll say that, led by fake Magneto, basically just out there causing trouble, and the X-Men had to shut it down. Now, some would make the argument that's the same X-Men story we've heard thousands of times. Yeah, ain't it great? Like, legitimately, isn't it just good reading? Following that hero's arc, following the intrigue, and then this overlying plot with it. It just makes sense, and I've been enjoying it. And if you have it, let me know down below. Tell me what you think. Moving on. Old Man Quill. We get to see Old Man Quill battle Fing Fang Foom. If you don't know, that's the dragon right here on the cover. And apparently he's being mind controlled. This takes place sometime in the future, like all the Old Man series do. And I'm really digging the banter and stuff in this. I'm really digging this church that wants to convert everybody. It was kind of cool seeing Spider-Woman in here, but come to find out, she's probably just as crooked as Taskmaster, who's running a particular area of the world in the future. The Wastelands, I believe is what they call it. We get this really cool scene right there with this dinosaur, and it looks like it has some sort of symbiote in it, I'm assuming. They don't really describe it, but it just looks cool. So yeah, I'll eat that up all day long. And it looks like Doom's going to be getting involved here soon, and we got the church that wants to convert everybody, and then we got this guy right here. Now, who is this guy? He calls him by a name in here, his first name, but he looks more like, to me, like the Human Bomb. If you're a fan of freedom fighters, you'll know the Human Bomb. He can explode himself at any given moment, and he needs a suit to contain it. Kind of looks like him to some degree, but I don't know if it is. So that's some hard speculation on my part. But let's see what happens. Next, meet the Skrulls. Boy, you want to talk about a coming-of-age story gone wrong. The young daughter in this, who was just quite not a Skrull like everybody else, ends up dropping a body in this. And it's kind of awesome, I'll be honest. And we also get, how they operate, how they move, how they change themselves from form to form. We get a lot of that goodness. But I wouldn't call this an action story, by no means. This is definitely, and I can't even really call it a mystery. This is a spy novel. It's just like a spy novel told from the bad guy's point of view. And I think that's what makes it cool and kind of unique in its own right. Because it's done in this comic book universe. Let's see here. Gardens of the Galaxy. Man, Groot is kind of cool in this. He's forceful when he needs to be, and he'll hug it out when he has to. It is just kind of cool. And we got Quill kind of back engaged and working with everybody. However, there is a scene in here that is kind of awkward. Oh, we also get a huge battle with our new Gardens of the Galaxy and the people that are sent out to find to kill Gamora, ultimately. What are some other good things that we had? We had something kind of weird but interesting happen. And I want to find the page for you guys. I really should have been prepared before doing this, but I didn't think I would go this deep into it. So she's on this planet and she's locked away, right? And we get this scene right here. And Gamora's living here. Well, apparently somebody's living with her. So there's yourself a cameo appearance of a hand. Good luck speculating on that one, comic book people. But who is that person? And what role will they play? I think that would be interesting as all get out. And, of course, spoiler alert, Peter gets dropped in this one. He gets shot trying to save Gamora. Is he dead? Of course he's not. It's the comic book world. He's not going to die. I hope. Well, he can't die because we're reading Old Man Quill, so we know he's lived it. Maybe, unless it's another universe. I don't know. It's so hard to keep track of these things. It really is. Moving on. Amazing Spider-Man number 19, HU. This tells the story from how, and this is kind of weird. In 19, just regular 19, we had the Lizard just show up, right? And this kind of tells us how he showed up, what got him there, and how he kind of screwed over Taskmaster, and how he kind of screwed him over to get in there, and how Taskmaster is ultimately going to help him. Pretty smart, pretty witty dialogue in this. I really like it. I like this kind of setup of traps. I love it when villains work together for a better purpose that's outside of their nature, right? Because I think it enhances the overall story within the story. And I think they're doing a good job of that. Definitely check that out. Next, I don't know how I feel about this next one. And that's Avengers No Road Home, number 10. I I've really been liking this, and I thought this kind of left off in a whimper. Just wasn't as big as I wanted. So if you remember in the last issue, they went into the house, and in this house, Vision followed her, or Nexus in, and then all of a sudden, she's all powerful and everything, and then for no other reason than the sheer power of, I guess I'm being forced to think, belief. He's able to think about all the superheroes the Avengers know to show up and defeat her. But yet she's the one with all the stones and all the powers and everything else. I don't know. I thought they just kind of downplayed this concept. Beautiful splash page, as they call this the House of Ideas, and then like all the concepts of superheroes pop up to defeat her. I like the verbiage, the astonishing, the fantastic, the amazing, to describe all the various heroes that came in there. I thought it was a great homage splash page. But I don't know. I guess maybe I just wanted something a little bit more in this, and I don't think that I got it. I'm not going to say it was a letdown, but man, this thing came in like a flaming torch of genius, and then it just kind of felt like a candle being blown out at the end. It just didn't have the, that happened in it. We did get some cool stuff here. We got Hercules being what he desired. He wants to listen to people instead of always talking. He's got this really cool outfit. A lot of speculation on this already. As far as the Eternals go. If you don't know, check out just about every other speculation video out there. They're all talking about it. Let's see here. Moving on. Let's talk about War of the Realms. First, let's talk about the regular cover. How cool is this Young Guns cover right here? Check that out. That is cool. I'm digging that. Man, this is a great story. I love it, these events that actually include a little bit of everything and gives you a scope of what the street heroes go through and what your powerful superheroes go through. And I really like it. I love the mix. I love the variety of characters in this. Probably one of the best things in this was, again, even in this issue, was Frank Castle and Wolverine's kind of banter back and forth. The running joke in this particular issue right here was, Wolverine, I thought he was dead. And even at one point, Frank Castle asked him, he's like, aren't you dead? And he was like, nah, I was just really drunk. Like, drank too much and I was asleep. I just think it's fun. There's just enough wit in here to make you smile every now and then without overdoing it. And there's a lot of action and storytelling happening at the same time. But it's all really condensed and refined. And I'm really enjoying that. Kudos to the people writing this. I was scared getting into this that I wouldn't like it. And I tell you what, you're not disappointing. You are living up to expectations. Thank you. Next is, I went ahead and picked up the Punisher one. Now, I'm not picking up every War of the Realms. I'm not even picking up every issue, number 1 of War of the Realms. However, somebody said that if you like the banter between Frank Castle and Wolverine, you have to pick up this issue. Now, this is not the cover that I wanted. I was really looking for that one where he's kind of in the kneeling position on the giant's head, popping off some rounds. Oh, man, I was like, I want that. But avast. Did not happen. So again, we get some more of that good witty banter between just two seasoned warriors that don't need to say a whole lot to each other to make things happen. And we kind of see the absolutism of Punisher, where he saves a bunch of inmates and he's like, here's some melee weapons, yada, yada, yada. You guys are going to help me get these patients through the bridge so we can get them to Jersey out of the way. And one guy's like, rush him! And he runs up to him, and Frank Castle's just like, yeah, he could have pushed him away. He could have punched him in the mouth. No. And the problem, he doesn't have. He has bigger problems going on than this guy shucks around right into his face. And I was just like, what? They still do that in comic books? He just dropped a body right there? And then everybody else is like, yeah, I think we want help. So that you want to talk absolutism, that speaks volumes to it. But yeah, we get more of this Wolverine stuff going on with him. His big plan, what he can do with piano wire is huge. I'm trying to find you the page where him and Wolverine kind of chatted out, and it was kind of funny. I'll show it Sunday night. We'll just show it then. But yeah, this has just been great stuff. Great read. Definitely, I'll probably pick up the rest of the War of the Realms with the Punisher if it keeps going in this direction, because I'm absolutely loving it. Last but not least, kind of a weird one. Again, this is another one of those ones where I don't know if I like it or not. I'm going to reread it just in case I missed something. But that's Daredevil, and this is where he becomes the god of fear. And I found it very interesting. First off, as we all know, Daredevil is a religious character. He follows Catholicism, and he believes in a one true God, or the divine divinity. And so he meets Thor, and he's like, "You're not a god. Why are you calling yourself a god?" And, and they kind of have this kind of weird banter back and forth about religion. And I thought that was interesting. I thought that spoke volumes, but I think it's very easy to be kind of missed, because Thor brings up a very good point. He's like, "Well, you dressed as a devil. Are you a devil?" So that kind of brought up some interesting things there versus perception and how it fits into religion. But I find it interesting because as the story goes through, and I love the fact that they did this. This I absolutely do love about this story. At the end, Daredevil gets Heimdall's sight, or his enhanced abilities, I should say, because he still can't see, but he can hear and smell realms away. And I thought that was interesting, but then at the end he starts questioning, if I can do this, am I a god? And I thought that was kind of like, I wonder, are you? And of course we got Wilson Fisk doing what he does. I'm not a huge fan of this particular art in here. I can say, but I do like the storytelling in it. So yeah, I like it as far as that goes. Now, if you don't know, there's two other stories in here. The one with Cloak and Dagger is at best mundane. I didn't really get much out of that. And the Howard the Duck story that's also in it, that was just, I don't even know why that was in there. Like, I guess maybe they thought a comedic break would be okay with such a powerful story, but I just kind of not really into this, sorry. So now I didn't care for that, but I am interested in this Daredevil character, and as long as they keep playing on those kind of themes of religion and what it is and how does that work inside of a comic book universe where legitimately there's constant gods walking around, and then there's people that are gods, and it definitely plays into mythology a lot, especially American mythology, which is the comic book. Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. One other thing that came in, and I kind of missed it from my site that I have not read yet, and I can't wait for this disaster, is, Major X. Comic Book Shop was nice enough to throw it into my poll, thinking that I would want it. And, I don't want to be weird or tell a guy I don't want it or anything like that. So I went ahead and picked it up, but I made it very clear this will be my last issue. I'm just not a fan of this particular type of story writing, and I'm not a fan of regurgitating old themes and just putting new dresses on it. That's not really my thing. Maybe it is your thing, or maybe I shouldn't have phrased it the way that I did, because it almost sounded like an insult, and I don't mean that. But what I do mean is I, when Rob Liefeld needs money, he shows up, and we give him money. That just seems like what we do. I don't know. So what's going on? We got a couple of Comic Cons coming up, not in the immediate future, but in the near future. A lot of good stuff. We got the Tidewater Comic Con going on in Virginia Beach. Something in the summertime. We're still trying to decide on what we want to do there. And it looks like Baltimore Comic Con is definitely going to be going to be a go for us. We're already looking at places to stay and how we're going to fund that whole operation of being up there that week. If you're going to any of these Comic Cons, let me know. Love to meet you. Love to buy you a drink. Especially if you're in the Tidewater one, because I know all the cool places in Virginia Beach. Like, we can go chill out. It would be fun. So definitely let me know in the comments down below. If you're going to Baltimore Comic Con, start thinking about that now. Because those hotel rooms fill up quick. So definitely let us know. Also, check out one other channel that I've been kind of inspired by, and I really like what he's doing. He was also one of the contestant winners on my contest, my 100 sub contest, and that's Comic Altruism. He's up in Canada, and he's doing this great thing where all the proceeds from comic book sales and stuff like that are going to charities, but it's charities of your choice, and he's got a Road to 100 subscribers contest going on right now. I think that is awesome. Good job, man. Way to spread a little love around. Nothing like taking care of your communities and your charities, because charity is boundless. So definitely check that out. I'll try to remember to put the link down below. But I got to get this done pretty quickly because my wife, Spectacular Spider Grandpa, and Mrs. Spectacular Spider Grandma, looks like we're all going to go out and have dinner tonight and probably drink too much because... that's what Pocan Joe does. Other than that, just one other thing, just as a little sidebar. For a lot of you in the comic book community, I understand that right now there's a lot of weird stuff going on. If you don't know what I'm talking about, some people have beef with other people. So this is my declaration of independence, if you will. I am not part of that. I enjoy everybody's company in the comic book industry. All my Gold Age collectors, my overthinkers for current storylines, and everything along those lines. I just felt that needed to be said because, unfortunately, when these kind of things start happening in any community, not just the comic book community, but in real life communities, they have a tendency to suck people in. So, as my declaration and a reminder to myself that I will not get sucked into this. I enjoy everybody's channels out there. I enjoy everybody's input. Some people I engage with more than others. It's nothing personal. It's a matter of preference. So I just wanted to throw that out there as just sort of a disclaimer. I don't even really consider myself a channel as more as, if you watch my earlier videos, I legitimately call this a cult. So just to kind of separate myself from that stuff, I just want you to know, all you out there, I love all of you, and you're the reason why I do this and why I engage myself in these comic books. And I guess at the end of the day, all I hope to do is maybe bring a little value, even if it's intrinsic, to a comic book to show that it does have meaning and it can be relevant to our lives. My dog is scratching at the door and losing its mind right now, but then again, we do have a storm coming, so I need to let her in. Hey guys, thanks for swinging by. As always, appreciate you. If nobody's complimented you today, baby, you look better than I do. Look at this mug. It's out there. I'm telling you right now. Y'all stay cool. Be cool. Get yourself some grub. I'll see you Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Blaster Stash It. Bye.